Welcome back to another reaction. This time for The Villainess is Adored by the Prince of the Neighboring Kingdom, episode 2. I did not like episode 1 at all. I am not hopeful this is going to be better. We will see.
どうしてこんなことに。乙女ゲームの悪役令嬢に転生した私は断罪イベントで婚約破棄を言い渡された。そこへ突然続編キャラのアクアスティード王子が現れて、
ティアラローズ嬢、私の妃になっていただけませんか。
Quite honestly, they should have just done that. Would have made a far better first impression.
アクアスティードマリンフォレスト、乙女ゲームラピスラズリの指輪続編のメイン攻略キャラクター。大好きなキャラにいきなり求婚されるなんて。
I'm assuming he is also reincarnated.
でもどうして悪役令嬢ポジションである私に求婚を。申し訳ありません。
謝る必要はないよ。むしろ気にかけてもらえるなんて光栄だ。
いえ、アクアスティード殿下は女性の憧れの的でいらっしゃいますから。
そう言われるということは少しは期待していいのかな。
アクアスティード殿下はなぜ私に求婚を。
理由はただ一つ。
Money.
あなたが欲しくてたまらなかったんだ、ティアラローズ嬢。
In the grand scheme, from all the info we have, this doesn't really make sense. So the assumption is just he is part of another reincarnated. Doesn't necessarily need to be male, could be a woman, I don't know. That just because she, our main character, is like, oh, this is my favorite character from the sequel. I love him so much. Whoever reincarnated as him could be like, hey, the villainess of the first story is my most favorite character. I'm assuming at some point we get the revelation, oh, also reincarnated. Did we have the opening in Lost? No. Did we? We did. Because of the fairies. The whole fairy thing. Bring Aqua, do you like sugar? Okay.
アクアスティード殿下と初めて出会ったのは1年前、夜会の時。学園では同じクラスだったけれど、ほとんど話。
However, this was before you got your memories back, so you did not really change the storyline, because that is the main part. If you get your memories back earlier, you can change the story somewhat. And there are some stories that go that way, where people try to change the story, some where people don't. They want the story to unfold like it is. But in those where you try to change the story, in most cases it doesn't really work.
学園では同じクラスだったけれど、ほとんど話したことはない。なのになぜ？
Yeah, why?
図書館の窓からいつも君を見ていたんだ。
Did you?
もしかして図書館裏のですか？
そう、木陰で読書しながら表情をくるくる変えている。 可愛い君を見つけた。
かわいい。人目を避けて読書をしたり、フィリーネとお菓子を食べたりしてた。あれを見られていたなんて。
真面目な顔をして本を読んでいるかと思えば、次の瞬間には顔を赤くして照れたり、涙ぐんでいる時なんて抱きしめたくて仕方がなかったのに。
忘れてください。
それは無理。せっかく一緒にいるんだ。もっと顔を見せて。
見られていたなんて思わなくて。
私も覗き見るような形になってしまって申し訳ないと思っている。でも毎日のように木陰で読書をするあなたに私は日に日に虜になったんだ。それはもう自分でも驚くほどに。本当だよ。でも君はハルトナイツ王子の婚約者だった。さすがに他国の王族の婚約者を奪うことなんてできないからね。
But you can remove the foreign prince's fiance from their own ball? Somehow?
我慢をするつもりだった。1年の留学期間を終えたら国に戻り、あなたのことは忘れようと、そう考えていた。
So this was where... After completing my year of studying abroad, I returned home and told myself to forget about you. So the whole I'm in the library and I'm seeing you read is before he left?
忘れようと、そう考えていた。
And then...
でも、まさに行幸だった。このチャンスを逃してはならないと、私も必死だったんだ。かっこ
Because she didn't have her memories at that point. However, we do know the villainess is not a villainess. She's just a normal girl who all the things she did was within reason. So, okay.
悪いだろ。
そんなことはありません。一人であそこに立っていた私にとってアクアスティード殿下の存在はとても心強い。
Yeah, all alone. I mean, your father was willing to come to your side, but you said, nope. I'm gonna deal with this myself. The king, however, had a lobotomy because he was brain dead. He did not react one bit.
よかったです。
ハルトナイツ王子が追放とまで言うから少し驚いていたんだ。まあ、もし追放するというのであれば私がさらってしまおうかとも。
A little bit too touchy-feely?
思ったけれど。
からかわないでください。
本気だったんだけどな。
こんなことを平然と。乙女ゲームのキャラクターだから？それともアクア様の性格？
ティアラローズ城？
いえ、アクアスティード殿下が私を好いてくださっているのが未だに信じられなくて。
疑われていたなんてひどいな。こんなにもティアラローズ城が好きで仕方がないのに。
Very touchy-feely? Too close? I feel like.
かわいい。けど残念。到着したようだ。
So she's not going to get banished? Question mark? Or she is? Because he made it sound like that she may not be banished.
お送りいただきありがとうございました。
ティアラローズ城、デートにお誘いしたいのですが、お時間をいただけませんか？
喜んで。もう学園は卒業しましたし、時間はたくさん空いています。
ならば3日後、迎えに行くから待っていて。
So this is going to be interesting because now she's back home, she's with her dad. We are most likely going to find out what the outcome was of all this shitstorm. because the prime minister, he's going to be enraged for good reasons. The king, maybe he finally woke up and is like, I don't know what is going on. This is essentially a disaster from every angle. So I do wonder what the outcome of that is going to be. It could be that the prime minister, I mean, he could more or less leave his job. I mean, then there would be no money. Let's see what the fallout was.
婚約破棄国外追放私の可愛いティアラローズになんてこと言うんだあの愚か者が
私たちの大切なティアラローズ様を捨てるなんて
I mean, you clearly know she's here.
食いようのないバカ殿下ですわ。
だが
There's a war?
婚約期間中に殿下の本性が分かってよかったな
アクアスティード殿下素敵だったのね。それでティアラローズお返事はどうするの？
ハルトナイツ殿下との婚約は破棄されアクアスティード殿下からは正式に婚約の申し込みをいただいている
Maybe, I mean, I assume she's going to say we are going on a date in 3 days. And then we will see how it develops. I mean, it doesn't feel like her engagement with the prince was not really out of love. So I guess she may try. I feel like he would more or less push her towards the engagement with Aquastide.
ティアラローズ様はアクアスティード殿下のことどう思ってらっしゃるのですか？アクアスティード殿下は私にはもったいないお方ですわ。悪役令嬢が隣国の王太子と結婚する。そんな未来があり得るのだろうか。
You're not even a villainess. That is, I don't even know. The main plot of the game that they present here is just very weak, because it's like I don't really want to see her have a downfall, because she didn't really do anything bad. It's not like she tried to kill the main character or try to really bully her. She didn't really do much. Not really a villainess. And again, if this was a real medieval thing, I feel like the prime minister would push her a little bit more for the engagement because of political gains. But I don't know. The engagement with the prince was not out of love. So why do they care so much now? Maybe it's because it was an agreement with the king. You can't really say no to the king. And now that this engagement has fallen through, they're like, find someone you like to be with. Someone who is going to treasure you more than whatever the prince was. Additionally, where's the fallout? The king and the prime minister, they should have like a talk. Is the prince going to lose his prince title?
開けろ。できません。陛下よりお通しするなと命を受けております。長居はしない。
Open the door. Yeah, the king has said you are not allowed to. I won't stay long. That is fine. You can stay here where you are if you want, as long as you want. You are not getting in.
少し明かりの様子を見るだけでもいい。
She's alive. You can be happy about that point.
ですが、頼む。俺はもしかしたら判断を間違
No?
えたのかもしれない。 それを確認するにはあかりとの会話が必要なんだ。
You can talk. You have a voice. You can talk. If it reaches her, fine. If not, you're not getting through the door. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you... You... Oh, I fucking hate this writing. His Majesty has ordered me to not let you in. Majesty, the king himself has ordered you to not let him in. Are you... This makes no sense. Do you know what happens if you go against the king in medieval age? You are dead. You are gone. You can be happy if you survive. You don't go against the king. I don't understand this. It would be like, hey, you can talk. The door stays closed. You are not allowed to be let in. You can try the window. Maybe you fall and break your neck. This... It makes no sense.
ハルトナイツ様、
あかり、
会いたかったです。ハルトナイツ様、部屋から出してもらえないし、何もすることがなくて暇で。
Okay, time is up. Let's leave.
死んでしまうかと思いました。
暇？卒業パーティーでの出来事について何も考えてなかったのか。
でもまさかアクア様がティアラ様にあのよう
I'm assuming she's also reincarnated.
なことを言うとは思いませんでした。アクア様、ティアラ様に騙されたりしないといいのですけれど。
あかり、ティアラがあの時に言っていたことは真実か？間違ったことはしていないと。
What are you asking her? Huh? You were like, oh, you said this to her, you said that to her, and she explained to you that this has all a specific reason. You know, you are not allowed to dance 3 times because that is only reserved to your fiance. It is a bad look in an open setting. You don't ask her, you should know it yourself that is the point. But you didn't really think about it. Now you are putting it on her. You are the idiot.
きつく言われて辛かったのは覚えていますけど、でも私にはハルトナイツ様がいてくれましたから、とても心強かったです。
It feels like he's going to put everything on her, but he is the one that should know all of the problems. I don't really know what her standing is in these kinds of stories. It's most of the time the fiance, the villainess is like a noble, higher noble, and the heroine, her Akari, is most of the time like a simple village girl thrust into high society with some merit, maybe because she's smart or whatever, or has some power that is important. So they most of the time don't really know. I don't remember what her way is, but nonetheless the prince should know that all of these things were not really wrong that the villainess did, quote unquote villainess. So he should not be able to put those on her.
ハルトナイツ様、もしかしてティアラ様に何か言われたんですか？
あれからティアラには会ってない。合わせる顔もない。
悪役令嬢が本編の後も関わってくるなんて。
See, also reincarnated. I still feel like the prince also has to be, because the story didn't really change, or she didn't really change the story apart from being banished at the end. And I guess that is enough for the prince to step in the second one. I don't know. it would feel a little bit strange that he involved himself in the story unless he is reincarnated.
私閉じ込められているのは嫌です。いつになったらハルトナイツ様と一緒にいられるようになりますか？
まだしばらくは厳しいだろう。
早くしてくださいね。それとアクア様のことも教えてください。
This is also always a problem. You have like someone reincarnating as a heroine and they are always super greedy. It's not enough to just get the main character of this story. They also have to get all the other characters.
なぜ？
ティアラ様にひどいことをされて私のように傷つく前にお助けしたいのです。
ハルトナイツ殿下、お時間です。
まだ帰
First off, you should never have closed the door, or if you did that, you should have been inside the room. Because that is your job. Second, already far too much time. Third, you should not have left him in here at all.
らないでください。
お時間ですから。
待ってください、ハルトナイツ様。
俺は取り返しのつかないことを。
I mean, you did a bunch of mistakes, so... Sucker. I do hope he loses his prince title as well. And don't do this bullshit where he comes back and he's like, oh, I did it wrong. Oh yeah, you did a little oopsie. I don't care.
卒業イベントが終了してゲームのイベントは終わった。この後どうなるのだろう。
You
ア
die.
クア様は続編のメインキャラクター。悪役令嬢の自分が妃になるという未来がどうしても思い描けない。もし続編のヒロインが現れたらアクア様もヒロインに心変わりしてしまうかもしれない。ハル
Eh. Fair enough.
トナイツ様のように。
It does make sense to be like, hey, if the story more or less continues with the sequel and you go and be together with Aristide and then the other heroine appears and is like stealing him to get your heart broken. Understandable that maybe you don't want to. It's I don't know. Do you want to have like a couple years of potential love with a prince before and then get heartbroken, or do you just not want to risk it at all? Holy shit. Do you not want to risk it at all? Is the question. I feel like you would take the risk. If you like him, we can see at the date. Wait for the date. If you like him, I would say take the risk. Because there's no guarantee that the other heroine is ever going to show up. And if you like him, it makes good sense. No, don't be the prince, don't be the prince, don't be the prince. Okay. Fair enough. He is a prince, but he's not the prince I was talking about.
アクアスティード殿下。
こんばんは、ティアラローズ城。今夜は月が綺麗ですね。
Yeah, the moon is beautiful tonight, sure. Not how you should say it, but yeah.
どうして。
夜分にし
I know there are fairies from the opening. Is that magic? Because, yeah, you are not jumping this. I feel like if there's magic, they would have showcased magic being used.
どうして。
He just jumped up. I guess. What is that? Like 3 meters? I mean, don't you have a 3-meter jump? Easy. in height.
夜分に失礼。いきなりで申し訳ない。どうしてもティアラローズ城にお見せしたいものがあってね。
There's something I simply must show you. Drops pants.
私に？
ティアラローズ城は妖精の星祭りを知ってる？
The fairies, okay.
はい。
それを見せたくて来たんだ。
So I'm going to kidnap you.
妖精の星祭り。ゲームラピスラズリの指輪のエピソードでヒロインが親密度の一番高いキャラと見ることができるイベント。
From the first game? Because this looked like Akari. It also made it seem like there are multiple characters that she could be close to.
でも今はその時期では。
妖精よ。
Okay. So he has magic.
風が。
Some kind of magic.
体に触るといけないから。
ありがとうございます。ですがこれではアクアスティード殿下がお風邪をひかれてしまいます。
私は鍛えているから大丈夫。強引でごめんね。
いいえ、私は嬉しいですから。
ティアラローズ城。
Man, what a nice fairy festival. Oh, look at how beautiful it is.
はい。
So much beauty.
私もすごく嬉しい。なんだかいけないことをしている気分になる。
Because you do? We can agree, hey, you wanted to show her something nice, which, fair enough, okay. But you are doing something wrong. Or something you shouldn't do. It's not necessarily wrong, but you shouldn't do. You shouldn't invade, essentially, the room of a lady that is not your fiancé at this point. Late at night, coming over unannounced. I mean, you are not really disclosing yourself, unrobing yourself. You already removed your jacket. But all of this is already questionable and would be a scandal in most noble parts, I feel like. So yeah, you are doing stuff you shouldn't, definitely.
私、
And you are very close to the lady that is not your fiance again. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you shouldn't do. Does it mean it is necessarily wrong? No.
空を見てごらん。
Those things are called stars. We didn't even see the Fairies Festival.
すごいです。アクアスティード殿下。
ティアラローズ城に気に入っていただけてよかった。
星のような金色の瞳、吸い込まれてしまいそう。
I'm guessing the Fairy Festival or whatever he wanted to showcase was the meteor shower? I'm not sure. Whatever it was, we didn't get to see much of that.
ハルトナイツ、あかり城のところへ行ったそうだな。
Yeah, I heard you visited Lady Akari. I beheaded the guards that did not follow my orders, right? Right?
はい、勝手な行動をして申し訳。
I mean, he didn't, as far as I know, the king didn't tell him to not go. He told the guard to not let him in, which he promptly ignored.
帰りません。
それで何か得るものはあったか。
私はあかりの言葉を鵜呑みにしてしまっていたと。もっとティアラの話を聞くべきでした。
ティアラ・ローズ嬢も同じことを言っていたな。辛い思いをさせたことを私から謝罪したのだ。しかし彼女は
Getting an apology from the king is pretty big. I still believe the prime minister would get something from the king, but an apology to a specific person, I'm assuming outside official business, because he probably is not really allowed to be seen apologizing, is already quite a big concession. Normally, in a well done fantasy story. But I still believe the king would give the prime minister a little bit of a concession, something as a I'm sorry kind of deal, something tangible.
前を責めることもせず、
私こそもっとハルトナイツ殿下とお話をすればよかったのです。
昔はよく話していたのだろう。
I mean, she's not in the wrong. He took all the parts which, and there's the point, whatever Akari said was not wrong. She only told the prince, she told me that I am not allowed to dance with you. And the prince, instead of questioning it or thinking about it, just echoed what Akari told him, which then Tiara Rose was explaining that she already danced twice, so she was not allowed to dance with you anymore. Which he should have known, but... So it's mostly all on him. So I don't know why she is like, oh yeah, I don't blame him. No, you can blame him.
ハルトナイツ殿下、勉強の時間に逃げて教師を困らせてはいけません。誰しも最初は震えるのです。私も震えています。一緒に頑張りましょう。胸を張ってください。あなたは王太子でしょ。
私はティアラに叱られてばかりでした。
彼女は常に王国の未来を見据えていたからな。全ては王太子であるお前の将来を思ってこそ。
はい。私はこんなにもティアラに大切にされていたんですね。それなのに私はい
くら悔いてももはや婚約破棄を取り消すことはできぬ。
Oh my god, I'm so sad about the prince. Who would think about the prince? I don't fucking care about these two. Can we ignore them, please? We are still not really in a romantic relationship with Equisty, and we are still having this blonde idiot on the screen. Additionally, it doesn't really make sense. In the other stories, it's at least like, hey, the prince character loves the heroine, in this case Akari, because not only were you like, hey, I can't be engaged to you, the villainess, which is one part, but he also was like, yo, I'm going to be engaged to this girl, but you do that without loving her? Why are you so conflicted now? Even if you did something wrong, even if the engagement or annulling the engagement was a wrong idea, you would still be like, hey, I'm still going to marry this girl because I love this new girl, right? But this seems like you don't really have any feelings, then why did you even push for the engagement with this girl you don't like?
王太子殿下とのお出かけだから華やかさも大事だけれど、どこに行くにも失礼のないドレスがいいわよね。白もいいけどやっぱりブルーかしら。ねえフィリーネ、 どう思う？ティアラローズ様、とても楽しそう。え？初めてのデートですものね。そういえばハルトナイツ様とはデートをしたことなかったな。
Again, that relationship was never one of love.
アクアスティード殿下の国マリンフォレスト特産であるサンゴの髪飾りです。
Oh,
これはやりすぎじゃ。
interesting. Did he gift that to her? Because that would be a nice little gesture. You give someone an accessory, they wear that accessory on the next date. It's like, hey, I'm using your accessory. I thought about using it for our next meeting as well. It shows a lot of thoughtfulness of the character.
とっても似合ってますよ。それにこれをご覧になられたらアクアスティード殿下もきっとお喜びになりますよ。胸の奥がドキドキして足がふわふわ浮いているみたい。こんな気持ち初めて。
A little bit sad, but not uncommon.
わー、こんなに素敵な場所があったなんて知らなかったです。
気に入ってもらえたようでよかった。
I'm assuming he mentioned the accessory, right? Because it feels like he knows somewhat how to behave. And this would be one of those things you would comment on. I mean, we can assume he commented on her look. He told her that she looks lovely. Stuff like that. But the accessory seems like something it would be good to showcase that he also commented on that additionally.
マドレーヌとクッキーを焼いてきました。
Right, I forgot she does love cooking or baking.
マドレーヌとクッキーを焼いてきました。よろしかったら。
あなたが作られたのですか？私のために。いただくよ。おいしい。
よかった。私お菓子を食べるのも好きなんですが作るのも大好きなんです。美味しいスイーツは食べる人を幸せにしますから。そのマドレーヌ私も大好きなんです。ふわっとしているのにしっとりしていて紅茶にもココアにもいろいろな飲み物に合いますから。
Hmm.
バスケットいっぱいに焼いたのに本に夢中になってたらいつの間にか空っぽになってたことがあって。
Ooh. That's not good for the figure. I do wonder, I mean, it's episode 2, but we are still in the same kingdom. Now, she is pretty attached to her father, and this is like date we are checking if this is a relationship worth pursuing. But I feel like this is going to turn into a whole, the old prince wants her back, the new prince wants her, they fight over her kind of story. Otherwise, it would be nice to leave the country. But we will see. It's the only second episode.
食べ過ぎだと次女のフィリーネと慌てたこともありました。
ティアラローズ嬢は本当にお菓子と本が好きだね。
私ったらはしたないですわね。
そんなことはない。お菓子のことを話すティアラローズ嬢はとても可愛いし、ずっと聞いていたいくらいだ。
そんなに甘やかさないでくださいませ。
うん、クッキーも美味しい。ほら、あーんして。
アクアスティード殿下ってこんな人だったの？
Again, something I don't feel like you should do. This is your first date, and you are trying to feed her some food.
ほら。 食べる姿も可愛い。ねえ、ティアラローズ嬢。よろしければ。
Don't push your luck, buddy.
ですが。
He's definitely pushing his luck. Again, very touchy-feely, a little bit too much. You have to remember this is their first date. He just fed her some food and now he's pulling her closer.
ティアラとお呼びしてもいいですか？
はい、もちろんです、アクアスティード殿下。
嬉しいな。ティアラ、私のこともアクアと呼んで。
アクア様。ハルトナイツ殿下にティアラと呼ばれても何も感じなかったのに。
We are jumping quite a bit. Again, these are like nobles, and yes, it's like a fantasy story of like a game inside this story, so the rules are not necessarily the same. But you are normally already like in a relationship before you do stuff like this. This outside the relationship and outside family seems to be very uncommon normally.
どうしよう。とても嬉しい、ティアラ。
こんなに体が密着しては心臓がドキドキしていることがバレてしまう。アクア様もドキドキしてる？やっぱり恥ずかしくて。
いきなり過ぎたね。ごめん。でもティアラ、それじゃあまるでキスをねだっているみたいだよ。残念。もっとゆっくりデートを重ねようと思ったのにダメだね。ティアラが自分の前にいるからどうしても欲しくなる。ティアラ、一つお願いしてもいい？
はい、私にできることでしたら。
ありがとう。クッキー食べさせてくれる？
I feel like that is a very, of all the things you did before, this is pretty harmless in comparison.
なんだか餌付けをしているみたい。
うん、ティアラのクッキーは優しい味がする。いくらでも食べられそうだ。
ありがとうございます。
Really, now you see, really?
この髪飾りをつけてくれているってことは期待していいのかな？幸せだな。
悪役令嬢の私がこの先どうなるのかわからない。でもアクア様が求めてくださるのなら。
Okay, so we go for the engagement and leave. I don't really know where the story goes. Are we going to have like a romance part where we see them doting on each other every day? Are we going to have more of like an adventuring part where we go into a different kingdom? We learn everything about the kingdom. Are we still going for the rival path where this prince, the blonde one, is trying to get her back, which wouldn't really make much sense in my opinion? Who is he?
お父様、お話が。
ああ、アクアスティード殿下の話だろう。娘のことくらいわかるさ。お受けしていいのだな。
はい、お願いいたします、お父様。
娘が他国に嫁ぐのは寂しいが、幸せに笑ってくれるのが何より嬉しい。
Does it though? Did she seem so happy being engaged with the first prince? Or was it just like, it's a engagement we decided on and the hope is that at some point you learn to love each other? which I believe was more or less how it worked in our world. I'm not sure, details are very spotty, but I read from one source, so take it with a grain of salt, that a lot of engagements were similar to this one, decided beforehand. And whenever they got engaged to one another, they slowly but surely learned to love each other in some capacity. It was somewhat rare to marry out of love, but more common to love out of marriage, more or less, like that. So maybe that was the idea, maybe not.
ようこそおいでくださいました。
Why are we here? This is the castle of the king, right?
ようこそおいでくださいました。ティアラローズ様。私はアクアスティード様の側近のエリオットです。
突然お尋ねしてごめんなさい。
He has a castle in here, or is he in the castle? He's in the
謝罪
castle,
は
right?
ご無用です。アクアスティード様はとてもお喜びでしたか
As a
ら。
guest.
どうぞこちらへ。ラピスラズリはとてもいい国ですね。特に装飾品がとても美しい。
腕の良い職人が頑張ってくれているのです。マリンフォレストは自然のサンゴや真珠など海の宝石が多いですよね。女性の憧れです。
ありがとうございます。アクアスティード様もお喜びになられます。
ティアラ
Okay, it is okay. He's in the castle as a guest. Makes sense.
ハルトナイツ殿下。
ティアラなぜここにいやアクアスティード王子に会いに来たのか
はい。
卒業パーティーでは済まなかった
I mean, at least he apologized. Oh, okay.
ハルトナイツ殿下、お顔を上げてくださいませ。
しかし
王族が簡単に頭を下げてはいけません。
I mean, the king apologized to you, and he probably did the same, I assume.
ティアラにはいつもいろいろと注意をされたな俺のためにありがとう
よかった。分かってくれたんだ。前世で好きだったキャラクターが立ち直ってくれたのは素直に嬉しい。
ティアラ
No touchy. Bad touch. Bad touch. Again, they made it seem like he was in love with Akari, and now he seemingly is not anymore.
ねえハルトナイツ王子、私の大切な婚約者に何をしようとしているの？
She's not. Just saying, she's is still not your fiance. Again, there's some of these things that meh. We'll see how it continues. The first episode was so bad, so in my opinion, at least. It feels like a lot of these things could have been avoided by making the surrounding situations different. But we have to work with what we got, and a lot of this doesn't really make sense. Why is the prince, the blonde one, interested in her now? He annulled the engagement. At this point, it would be like, okay, maybe after that, he's like, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't really acknowledge that. Maybe he gets interested. But he also was like, yeah, I'm not only going to stop our engagement, I'm also going to be engaged to this girl, Akari, because I love her the most. This is the assumption. And now that he finds out that he was an idiot, he's like, oh, I don't like this girl anymore. I like you. Question mark? Just weird. The Aqua Steed is also a little bit too quick, I feel like. But that is only from the assumption that I have about how noble life would normally be seen as. So, fair enough. Eh.